So it appears that in a shocking twist of fate, OpenAI is not in fact hitting their absolute bat crap insane numbers that they're trying to pawn off on people so that they seem like they have a trillion dollar valuation. So we are starting to see the wheels come off of the AI train as basically all of the insanity, all of the fantasy of this AI fraud kind of starts to fade away in the background, and we're dealt with the brass tacks of reality. So one of the big things, like a lot of people out there ask me, like, Eli, why do you hate AI so much? And here's the thing, as I've said many times before, I don't hate RAG, I don't hate vector databases. You've never heard me take Mamba 2 to task. But that's the thing, those are all technologies, right? Artificial intelligence is simply a set of buzzwords. It's, hey, what if we take all of these technologies, we give them a fancy name, and then we say that they're more dangerous than nuclear weapons or whatever else, right? And the problem is the valuations for these AI companies are based off of complete and utter fantasy. Again, I've talked about this in the past, where I don't even like to talk about artificial intelligence anymore to normies because they start talking over me, which is the weirdest thing, right? If somebody asks me what computer to buy, they'll listen, right? If they ask me the difference between Azure and AWS, they'll listen. There's a lot of stuff in technology where they're like, Eli, as a professional, what is your opinion on X, Y, or Z? And I'll tell them my opinion, and they'll, oh, okay, fair enough. Again, they may not agree with it or disagree with it, but they don't fucking steamroll me. The weirdest thing that I find in the AI world is people be like, well, as a professional, what do you think about AI? And again, I'll go into vector database, I'll go into all this stuff, and in the end, they'll be like, well, what I think is... And then they'll just spend the next half an hour just steamrolling over me about what they think in their mind what artificial intelligence is. And I'm like, yeah, but that's fantasy. That doesn't have anything to do with reality. And so the problem that we have right now, again, whether it's the tech leaders, whether it's the political leaders, whether it's the fucking normies out there, they all have this fantasy that they're selling about artificial intelligence. And hell, right, if the fantasy that we're trying to sell is as amazing as we say it is, shouldn't it be worth trillions of dollars? Again, if Dipstick, I'm trying not to swear as much anymore. If Dipstick Dario comes out and says that AI will cure disease, right? If the guest on Anderson Horowitz comes out and says that AI will solve physics, how much is it worth to solve physics? And you're like, but it's not. It's just not doing that. But anyways, right? There's all these valuations out there. And so the problem is, right, you take a company like OpenAI, and OpenAI fundamentally believes that hardware is the future, right? You win, quote unquote. There's all this winning the AI race, which again, I don't understand. Whether it's between the USA and China, whether it's between all these little AI companies, I genuinely, I'm not even being snarky here. I don't understand the concept of winning the AI race. Can you imagine somebody trying to win the spreadsheet race? Can you imagine somebody trying to win the SMTP race? No, because that would be kind of stupid. It's like, oh, well, this is a really good product, right? This has a pole position or whatever. This is the leader currently. But it's not like once you get a really, really, really good spreadsheet solution, that nobody will ever be able to do a better spreadsheet than you. But anyways, there's this idea of like winning. Again, it's one of the things, many things with this whole AI idiocy. I just don't grab. Like, what are we talking about here? I don't get this. Anyways, right? So the idea with OpenAI is how they win the AI race is by more compute. Again, I read this book. I do need to get the little thing so I can tell you what book it was. I read this book talking about OpenAI, and it talks about it from the beginning, right? They have an intent. They have how they think things work, and their idea is that more compute equals more AI. That is their working thesis. By God, that is a thesis they're working on, right? More hardware equals more AI. more knowledge or more data and more hardware, right? And so basically, they are just dumping a tremendous amount of money into hardware because that's where they believe the future lies. And so, in order to buy all that hardware, they need to convince investors to give them more and more money, hand over more and more money, so they sell them equity for that. But the more hardware they need, the more money they need, therefore they need the value of their equity to go up. But the problem is, all of this is moving in such a way that, again, just doesn't make sense. It's untethered from reality, right? I mean, literally, and again, this is all true. Like OpenAI, this is the year of productivity for OpenAI, because the fact of the matter is, most people don't actually know how to make AI valuable. Don't get me wrong, AI can write your term paper for you. AI can write your marketing plan for you. But that's actually not valuable. It's great. It's a great party trick. It's not actually that valuable in the real world, right? And so OpenAI, literally, this is the year of productivity to prove that there's actually as much value as they say in this stuff. Again, we've talked about this. I think it was a CFO of OpenAI was talking about Rubik's Cube. That OpenAI is a spinning Rubik's Cube of like business possibilities when they were talking about revenue. Because, you know, whenever I sit down and talk with CEOs, I know we're being serious about their revenue metrics when they start talking about child's games. But anyways, right, they're in this world where they need more and more money in order to buy more and more hardware. The only way they get more money is by increasing the value of their valuation so that their equity, the shares that they're selling, are worth more. And basically, they're on this march to get to the $1 trillion valuation, right? And the thing is, with the investors, right, they don't want to buy in at $1 trillion. They don't want to just buy in and have it be worth $1 trillion. They want to buy in and think that's going to be worth $2 trillion or $3 trillion or $20 trillion 10 years from now. And so basically, again, all these startup companies do it. They got to put all these numbers and you know, put fantasy out there. I remember the first time I started dealing with the startup world, and I was so naive. I would go and I would see these startup founders, and they'd all have these hockey sticks. Well, the funny part is, like, this part of the chart was the past, right? Basically flat. And then they'd have a little growth. They would have little growth. And that's like where they currently were. And then somehow 6 months in the future, it hockey sticks. Like, wow, look at how much money you can make if you invest in the company now. And I didn't realize the hockey stick was fantasy. The hockey stick was so much fantasy. And so the problem that you run into with a company like OpenAI and this whole AI fraud world is what happens when people realize you can't get to the numbers that you're shilling. What happens when people start realizing that, I don't want to say you're making up the numbers, but you're using some very fancy math to get to the metrics that you want to get to. And what is that going to mean for the company? And what, more importantly, is this going to mean to the wider world, even the tech world? So this is coming from CNBC. OpenAI reportedly missed revenue targets. Shares of Oracle and these chip stocks are falling. So not only did OpenAI miss the revenue targets, which is an issue for them, but think about this. Other companies are already falling. Shares of companies tied to AI infrastructure tumbled Tuesday after a report that OpenAI has fallen short of internal growth expectations, raising fresh questions about whether the pace of spending across the sector is sustainable. No. Answer is no. Oracle, which has a $300 billion 5-year partnership to supply computing power to OpenAI for AI operations, dropped more than 6%. So think about this too. In the wider world, Oracle is already dumping 30,000 employees, right? In order to fund the AI idiocy, they're already firing 30,000 employees. So as they're terminating 30,000 employees in order to fund this AI stuff, now their stock is dropped by another 6%. Chip makers, including NVIDIA and Broadcom and AMD, declined between 3 and 5%. Qualcomm pulled back 3.5%. The stock had gotten a slight boost Monday on reports of working with OpenAI OpenAI on a smartphone chip designed to the firm's hardware ambitions. Leverage NeoCloud stock CoreWeave dropped 7%. In Asia, SoftBank Group, one of OpenAI's largest investors, sank 10%. So we think about this for a second. When we talk about these numbers, right? You got Oracle dropping 6%. You got SoftBank dropping 10%. But here's the thing. Here, I want you to grasp how horrible this is going to be. We are not saying that OpenAI has failed. We have not said that OpenAI is going bankrupt. We have not said that the entire AI train is about to run off the rails. Literally all that was said is that OpenAI did not hit their revenue projections. And simply by that one thing happening, you're already seeing the value of a lot of equities drop quite significantly. So if these equities are dropping by this degree over a pretty small, okay, they didn't hit their number, yeah, again, whatever. Again, to be clear, again, I'll be snarky about OpenAI a lot, but with business, I mean, you got up quarters, you got down quarters, you got up months, you got down months. You don't hit one projection. It shouldn't matter that fucking much. But one projection missed, all of a sudden, we're already starting to see the hit. The Wall Street Journal reported that OpenAI has recently missed its own projections for user growth and revenue. The shortfall has sparked internal concern about whether the company can keep pace with the massive financial commitments required to build out data centers and secure long-term computing capacity. According to the report, finance chief Sarah Fryer has warned colleagues that if revenue growth doesn't accelerate, the company could face difficulty funding future compute agreements. And again, that's the other interesting thing with all this AI disaster too. The whole idea that it still has to accelerate. Because again, with the AI world, we're getting to the place where you get to with all technologies. Again, whether it's smartphones, whether it's broadband, whatever else. You have this massive growth, and then you hit a bit of a plateau. And we're basically hitting a bit of a plateau right now, right? Again, you've got OpenAI, you've got Gemini, you've got Anthropic, right? You know all the stuff going on in the AI world. We are getting to the place where the people who would want to use AI are using AI. There is still growth. Don't get me wrong. There is still growth, but it's not a growth that's going to accelerate. It's a growth that's gonna accelerate. But notice this, they're already coming out and saying, we need to accelerate growth. And you're like, okay, again, how do you accelerate growth in a market that is basically becoming saturated, where most of the competitors and yourself give away a free product, where the value of the paid product, the price that people are paid, is actually going down significantly. And we are all realizing that the value of these products aren't exactly, what we were sold they are. How are you going to get the acceleration then? AI pushed back on the reports, of course. Quote, "This is ridiculous. We are totally aligned on buying as much compute as we can and working hard on it together every day," the company told CNBC. Again, their argument is, that's ridiculous. Their argument isn't, hey, here are our metrics. Their argument isn't, here, look at our numbers. Their argument isn't any of that. It's, this is ridiculous. Nothing says the guy on the other side of the table is being completely and utterly honest as when they start saying shit's ridiculous. So anyways, I've been talking about this for a while. We've started to see more and more of this where, OpenAI has been going after Anthropic, right? I talked about this like a year ago. One of the weird things in the tech world is everybody was getting along. That's not how the tech world is supposed to work, right? We're a bunch of catty little bitches. That's just how it is, right? All of a sudden, first time in my 30-year career in the tech world, all these tech companies were getting along. They were all saying nice things about each other in the whole 9 yards. And one of the things that I argue is that they all knew it was a fraud, right? If you poke holes in the other guy's fraud, then people are going to start looking at your fraud and wondering what the problems are there, right? So they were all nice and kind and all that kind of crap. One of the things we started noticing like a month ago, OpenAI, Sam Altman started going after Anthropic hard, right? Their number, you're like, oh man, don't do it. Oh, don't. Anyway, their numbers don't make sense. Their technology doesn't do what it's, right? They started saying this shit. I told you, right? Now we're starting to see, again, their numbers. They're not looking like how they're supposed to. And I think, again, I think 2026, maybe early into 2027 is where the AI world starts to right size itself. We actually start to see what artificial intelligence looks like going into the future. Again, it's the whole thing with the dot-com boom, right? There's a lot of arguments out there like, oh, people discounted the dot-com boom, but look at where the internet is today. But yeah, motherfuckers, it's 26 years later. I mean, right? And that might be with AI, right? In 2050, who knows? Maybe I will have a humanoid robot making me an omelet in the morning, right? But I don't think it's going to be 2030, right? And that's where, again, you look back at the dot-com boom and the bust, right? The whole idea that people were going to get dog food, you're going to get Outpost shipped to your door, that all this stuff. And it wasn't that it was going to happen in the future. Not that it was going to happen in 2026. It was that it was going to happen in 2001. And the fact of the matter is, it just took a lot more time than they were expecting, and a lot of things didn't work out how they thought it would. Again, remember with the dot-com era, the idea was brick and mortar was dead. Remember when brick and mortar was dead and online was the future? And then Amazon started buying brick and mortar. Because, there's a little more nuance to again, how this technology and how this stuff actually works out in the real world. And I think that's what we're going to be taking a look at with AI over the next decade or two, is it's going to do some amazing things that we weren't expecting. Again, I think about this now, like with dog food, right? I always make the joke about buying dog food online. I now get dog food shipped to my house. My little chihuahua eats V-Dog. It's vegan dog food. We literally get it shipped to my house. The idea of having dog food shipped to the house was utterly ridiculous 26 years ago. Now, every 2 months I get my little package of V-Dog, right? And that's the thing, is like the things that sound the most fucking absurd at some point become completely normal. And the things that you assume to be true, again, like brick and mortar or whatever died, isn't really the case. And all this stuff has to work itself out. And so I think that's what we're going to see with the whole AI thing, is that the AI world, again, in 2040 is not going to look like anything that we have now. My biggest issue is just how much oxygen artificial intelligence is taking out, not just out of the tech world, but the entire world at this point. Again, we talk about this with Anthropic or OpenAI at $1 trillion valuation, and SpaceX at $1.7 to $2 trillion, and Anthropic somewhere between $500 billion to $1 trillion, right? The idea that there is not enough liquid money to even be able to buy into these IPOs at this point in time. Even if you 100% agree with the valuations, there's not enough money out there for investors to actually buy. And that's my big concern with all of this, is that when it does go boom, because it's gonna go boom, it's gonna take so much a chunk out of the economy. So anyways, there you go. What do you think about OpenAI missing its revenue and its growth targets? And what do you think about, the stock market actually taking a bit of a hit? Just one AI company missing internal targets, SoftBank down by 10%, even Nvidia down by 5%, Oracle down, these big companies down. And that's just one fucking company missing an internal target. What the hell do you think is going to happen when shit really hits the fan? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. See y'all later.